Peace, everybody. You're listening to the Classroom and the Cell podcast. This is your brother Marc Lamont Hill, and I am joined by
your brother Mumia Abu Jamal.
Oh man, brother, it's good to hear your voice, man. It's good to talk to you. How you holding up these days?
Not bad for a geezer.
you the youngest old man I ever met in my life, man. You got more energy than anybody I ever met. I was this week I've been paying attention even more than normal to the polls, and right now in a lot of polls they still have Trump in the lead against Biden, or they have him within 2 or 3 points of Biden, and basically a statistical tie.
Yeah.
We lived through 4 years of Trump. I get why people don't like Biden. I get that. I get all the critiques. I get the left-wing critiques. I get the right-wing critiques. What I don't get is why the numbers are such that he would be in a statistical heat with Trump. I mean, that seems odd.
This is a call from Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Mahanoy.
This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
Well, I think that first of all, I think that Trump is a phenomenon, and as such, he has been underwritten, right? I remember telling cats when he first ran, I said, man, this dude can get in, and they would laugh at me, right? Even family members. I said,
they thought you was being dramatic. They thought you was being dramatic. They thought you was tripping.
Yeah, they thought it was, oh, there he go, he tripping,
Right.
And I wasn't tripping at all. And my consideration was this: like, if I went to any radio station that spoke English and some other languages, as soon as I walked in, I would be at home because I spent so many years in radio, right? The same is true of Trump regarding TV. And he's a media personality. What that means is millions of people have had them in their homes on TV. And they think of him as if they know them and he's almost part of the family, believe it or not. I never watched this show because, I considered what he was doing was just kind of, humiliating people. I don't, that doesn't move me. I don't watch that. It ain't sexy.
Right.
But for a lot of people,
I watched it.
They're familiar with
I was part of the
cat.
problem. I was part of the problem.
Yeah. Well, I used to watch it for, what's the sister's name? I watched it a
Omarosa?
few times. Boy, she is so drop-dead gorgeous. So did I watch? You bet. But as soon as she got off the screen, I left the town. And so my point is, he understands media in ways that a lot of media people don't, right? Because what did he say when he was on the bus? I'm a star.
That he did, and he wasn't wrong.
I can do anything. And that's what he means, and that's what he has damn near proven. That explains how...
This is a call from Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Mahanoy.
This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
He can go into virtually any small town in America and some big ones and fill a stadium because people know him from TV. You can't say you know Joe Biden, even though he's been around, since the days of Jesus. I mean, it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
He's got a speech impediment, and even though he said a few days ago, "I'm a handsome guy," that was the joke. That was the tagline. He now, and also, what did Trump prove, and when did he come into public office? He came right after the 8 years of Barack Obama.
Yes.
And
which apparently pissed people off more than I even considered, given the fact that they allowed this to happen.
No, but Obama allowed it to happen by not fighting for the things that he said he believed in. He opened the door by being like uncommonly decent. So he got like the mirror image or negative, the old negatives with the Polaroids. He got the negative image of him.
Right.
This was a cat that was overtly indecent, that said anything. I mean, think about his I'm talking about Trump now, his inaugural speech about Mexicans, you know.
Right. It's not funny, but it's like crazy. It's absurd.
They're rapists, and I guess some of them are good people. Come on, man. Seriously, did you just say that?
Yeah.
So you know, and also, you know, elections are a lot like the lottery. Not just in chance, because almost anything can happen. But it ain't logical, right? It's emotional, right? And for a lot of white guys in their 50s and 60s, they see their world going away and their only hope. You know, Trump said that. He said, if you don't vote for me now, there'll never be another chance. You know, listen what the cat says, because he's the kind of cat that says anything that pops in his head.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I understand to some extent why the disaffected white male who feels like he's losing the country and he needs some kind of explanation for why his world is upside down, why he's losing jobs, why he's not thriving, why, you know, the job that his parents had at the car factory that allowed them to go to college, allowed them to pay all their bills, suddenly isn't available anymore. And it's easy to say, like, and this is what fascists do, right? They point to who's screwing them, right? They act like, you know, they're the populist voice. You know, Trump says, I'm one of you, I'm the average Joe, but at the same time, I'm a billionaire. And the reason you're losing at life, white man, is because of the Mexicans. It's because of the blacks. It's because of DEI. It's because of the 1619 projects. And you just keep listing all the things that make them lose. And it resonates. And I get that. And when he stands up and speaks out against the sacred cows, you know, of white liberalism, and he doesn't play by the rules, and he's unpolished, and he tweets the most absurd and ridiculous and racist stuff, and he does it at such a high volume that he can't even have a scandal because, like, he said so many outrageous things. I remember when Michelle Obama got pilloried by the press for saying this was maybe the first time I was proud of my country, right? Trump says something 50 times more offensive, even by their measures, every day. But because he says 50 of them, it's like they don't count, right?
Yeah, the other 49, you know,
right? It's a log jam of
the other one.
Yeah, they nullify each other. But here's what I don't get.
Yeah.
After 4 years of it as a Democrat, or 4 years of it as a black man, so that's another population that is uncharacteristically or counterintuitively, I should say, attached to Trump. I don't want to overstate it because we still vote, we still support, you know, the same interests as black women do at a high rate. I'm not saying we should vote Democrat, but if that's the measure, black men are still pretty damn loyal to the Democratic Party, but they're not nearly as loyal as black women are. So there's still 10, you know, one poll recently had it in 20%. I don't believe the poll, but they had almost 20% of black men voting for Trump. I mean, why the hell have we attracted him after everything we've seen?
It's not about attraction. It's about alienation. And that's the point. When you talk about that white population, they're alienated, and they have a reason to be alienated. I think a good reason was NAFTA. NAFTA was perceived, right, as a screw to them and their trades by the elites, by the Clintons, by the rich and powerful, and by the corporations. And guess what? It was. And even when it did not take effect directly in terms of in their jobs, their employers knew. You know, when they were talking about striking, they would say, I'm taking this shit to Mexico, and that would kill all that. It would stop it cold because corporations and managers knew they could intimidate their workers if they threatened to close shop and go south or go to Asia. And, you know, because if you think about the NAFTA cell, I remember Clinton saying, you know, the days of us making things is over. We're now a financial capital of the world. Well, he's speaking for Wall Street. He's speaking for New York.
Right. And that's the Democrat.
And that's the Democrat. That was the new third wave of the Democratic machine. It wasn't populist. It wasn't working class. It was, the elite class, And so he can, him and Steve Bannon, they talk incessantly about NAFTA. And guess what? What they're saying is essentially true. So that's why it rings with, working class white folks. They feel like they can't trust anybody.
Yeah.
You dig?
Wow.
And who's more alienated than black men in this society? Nobody. So they are alienated, like doubly alienated, because, the Democratic Party has been no friend to black people. Mass incarceration happened under black presidents and predominantly Democratic Congresses. They're not your buddy because they're corporate machines. You dig it?
And so the economic alienation leads them to vote for somebody like Trump. Why? Is it because it makes them feel empowered? Is it because
it makes them feel like they matter? And Democrats don't give a fuck about, Democrats aren't fighting for the votes. In mostly white states, you have guys voting in prison, Vermont, Idaho, stuff like that. But in the Black Belt and the Northern
You
Black
have
Belt,
1 minute left.
you're done. Brother, they're calling, they're cutting down the block. I love you, man. It's great to talk to you.
Love you too, man. We're going to talk again soon. I got some other stuff that I need to pick your brain about.
All right, brother.
All right, on the move. Love you too. Everybody.
The caller has hung up.
Everybody, you've been listening to the Classroom in the Cell podcast. You've been getting the brilliance of Mumia Abu Jamal. And there's a lot more where that came from. Check out the podcast. Every opportunity you get, we're on the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. Just go to Marc Lamont Hill official on YouTube, and you can get all the episodes of the Classroom in the Cell. You can also get other important content, including Night School, which is the daily political education public classroom that I offer on the channel. You can hit the like button on all the content that you enjoy. You can hit the subscribe button so you can get regular updates. And, of course, if you're so inclined, you can hit the join button and become a monthly subscriber to the channel. We appreciate it because it helps us build the content. It helps us support the platform. It helps us create everything that needs to be created to give you all of this information. And if you want to go direct and go around the apparatus and the YouTube, you can just go to Cash App and go MLHTV. That's $MLHTV, and the proceeds will go to all the right places. I appreciate y'all, and I'll talk to you soon on the move.